everybody, it's Cinnamon Cootie, your Art Sherpa, and I'm so excited today because I'm going to show you how you can paint this adorable cutie little cheetah face. It's going to be a lot of fun, easier than you think. I'm going to break it down step by step. I'm going to tell you all the layers, all the color mixes, and all the techniques that create this adorable facey face. To help me do that is my husband, John.
Hello.
He will not talk in such a ridiculous way, but he will make sure that you can see all the techniques I'm demonstrating and talking about, see the color mixes, see the angles, that you're up close when you need to be up close and in the brush so that you can see how to do this painting. Now, whew, I'm telling you what, it's been a minute since we've done a big cat.
Mm-hmm.
A minute.
The big cats.
December. I think the white lion was the last one we did. So this will go really nicely with that. I've done a few big cats. I should probably make a big cat playlist. I might have a big cat playlist. I have as many playlists as I have videos, and there's thousands of videos. So YouTube gives me a tool, and I take advantage of it. Would you guys like to know what we're using in today's lesson?
I would like to know.
Okay. The first thing you need to know is if you check the description, you can go to my website, theartsherpa.com. And on the video page for this and also on the traceable module, you can find the traceable. I'm going to be demonstrating the traceable today. And I'll do a grid for you guys that prefer gridding after we've got this painted, so you'll have your grid on your painting. I'm also going to be breaking this down into steps. Those steps are going to be time-stamped. Those time-stamped steps will match a mini book, which is a written-out instruction of the video that matches the video. So if you're wanting to kind of have a little more help during the painting, that can be a useful resource. So those are the non-tangible, not on my desk resources that we have. There's me, who's here to guide you through the entire painting process. And I'm here to remind you that you can do this. I mean, I feel you can do this. You may kind of want to lean into being critical of yourself, but you can really do this. So if you love cheetahs and you're like, man, I really want to paint this, you can. Take a deep breath. We're just going to go through the process, and the process gets us where we need to go. 8x8 surface on a turntable. You don't have to have a turntable. I use a turntable so that if I need to see the canvas at another angle, I don't want to hunch over it. I don't want to hurt my back or my neck. I can just turn it, and that helps me. But we'll make sure that your orientation doesn't get confusing for you. The colors for today are super simple. Cadmium red medium. You could use real cadmium pigment or hue. Just any bright red, orange. Cadmium yellow. And again, you could use hue or another bright or yellow pigment. I've got burnt sienna, Mars black, titanium white, and phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is a little bit that we do of reflections and stuff and some work through the nose. And these two are the trick to the really luminous, super wet, amazing eyes we're going to have. I may also be using fluid acrylic during this. I like to use this for reflections in eyes and noses because it's so pigmented. You can just use the white paint that you have if you don't have this, or you could buy craft paint because craft paint is the same consistency. So this is more pigmented than anybody else. The most pigment in the world. Of course, I'm powered by coffee. I don't have my wet palette today, and you may ask why. Did they break up?
Why?
No.
Why?
I just didn't get it set up.
Oh.
It takes, if you have one of these, you know, it takes a little bit of setup, and I just didn't get to my setup, so I'm using a peel paper palette today.
Yeah.
All right. Does that explain what we're doing? I'm going to demonstrate a technique and explain why and show it to you, and you're going to copy me, and we're going to go through that step by step, and at the end, we're both going to have a cheetah painting. You're not going to have the same exact cheetah painting as me because you're a person. You're an individual. You should not look exactly like mine.
It should not?
Your personality is going to come out in the painting. I see it all the time. I just got back from painting with some community members at a retreat. And again, just to a person, you see people in their paintings. You see them in their paintings. They are in there in every brushstroke and every color mix and at every expressive moment. You see their hearts. It's just amazing. I'm a little bit kind of elevated from when I get to paint with you guys in person. It's like the best thing ever. And so if I'm a little bit up today, it's a combination of woo and coffee.
Yeah.
So you've been warned. What's happening? Guess what this is, John?
We're
going to go step
surface.
1.
Oh, you would like a step?
I would, because the step 1 is going to be paint the surface brown and put the traceable on it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint the surface brown and put the traceable on it. The easiest of the steps. So this is burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is similar from paint company to paint company, but if you painted for a minute, you will start to notice that not every burnt sienna is burnt in the same way or is sienna in the same way. And that's because this pigment comes mostly from dirt. It's very rarely a synthetic. And even among the synthetics, there's just sort of a general kind of, oh, I almost forgot my wishes. I have a wish for healing and recovery for a dear friend of ours that is in the hospital right now. And then I also have a wish for hope and rescue and healing and justice for those impacted in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure I got in there. And, of course, protections for our dear cheetah friends and their habitats.
And a wish to all of our friends who need medical help and stuff.
Yeah. I said dear friend in hospital.
Okay. I was reading a thing.
I said dear friend in hospital.
Okay, good.
But I'm not saying dear friend's name because dear friend would like to be
that's
private
okay.
about it. So I'm not. Your friend knows who they are.
I was reading chat and didn't and was like, did we get that? You know me. I'm only half paying attention to you on a good day.
Ah, it's true. Same though. Same.
Same.
I'm just paying half attention to him. So I'd like to say that I really love wild animals. I have a healthy respect for big cats. I like them in the wild, far, far, far from my house. I do not, after watching Tiger King, like from beginning to end, think cub petting is remotely okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that all cheetahs belong in the wild.
Yes.
And I have made a decision on Carol Baskin, John.
Oh my gosh.
Carol Baskin.
I don't even know if I should ask. See, I'm in the Thundercats camp when we come to Big Cats.
Camp. I have decided that if, regardless of whatever else she's done, if she manages to get these animals habitats protected and slow down the private ownership of them, good.
See, I have feelings about like
I have decided.
Panthro and Tigra.
He didn't watch Tiger King, so he doesn't know.
No, but I watched Thundercats.
I was obsessed with Carol Baskin for a minute. Like I watched all the reaction videos on YouTube where a specialist observes their body language and says what they're doing.
See, I know
which they never actually say what they're doing. I don't know why I keep watching these because they don't want to make a really strong sentence. They would like, it could indicate lying or it could indicate truthfulness. It could. Everything could anything then. I'm painting everything brown and I'm just trying to make a moderately good amount of paint, but it's streaky. You guys see that this is streaky?
I see it.
You see it? You see it? Okay, so it's streaky for two reasons. It's streaky because this natural pigment tends to be transparent. They do talk about it on the tube. It'll tell you like the transparency here. See that open circle, right? And so where they're going through, they'll tell you how opaque something is. They will tell you how transparent it is. They will tell you how light fast it is. They will tell you if it's poisonous or not. Tubes of paint have a ton of information on it. And if you want me to make a video on how to read them, I'm happy to do that. I will show you how to read any tube of paint in the world if it's in your native language or a language that you read. I don't know how to read it in another language, which is why I buy my art materials from trusted resources, because if there's a cadmium label warning, I need to be able to read it. John, I need my hairdryer.
Do you?
Yes.
It's right here.
We talked about it ahead of time.
Put it right here.
And we had so much time. And then there was no thumbnail. I'll trade you a hairdryer for a coffee warm-up.
Would you?
But we can't warm up the coffee and dry the paint at the same time. It'll take the power out of the whole house.
Now you're learning about 100-year-old house
You know what I'm going to do?
rules.
I'm going to go see what's going on. I'm going to say how to, because this is on Facebook and this is on both. And so I'm going to see what's happening on Facebook because I love you guys and I want to know what you think. So let's go see what they think. Will I be sorry? I don't know. Switch my profile. You guys have this new thing where they make you switch your profile every time you do a thing and you're like,
May says hi from Norway.
Hi, May's from Norway.
And Sandy.
Pages. I'm going to go to my
Sandy
page.
says? Thunder.
Thundercats. Oh! There we go.
Yeah, I did it.
I like the Thundercats. I asked that question, but everybody found it a little bit stressful. So I'm going to get in here just real quick and say hi to Mary Britt. Hi from Norway, sending lots of healing to your friend. And Jeanette says hello from Canada. And Gary Williams says, love you guys. Love you back. So how is YouTube doing? I'm going to draw this, and you should say hi to YouTube.
I will say hi to YouTube. Hi, YouTube. How you guys doing? It's nice to see everybody out here. I'm a little more mellow today than some other days. That's okay. Just been one of those nice, calm, I'm going to say Sunday, because I think it's Sunday, but it's been one of those weeks where you get to it and you're not exactly sure what day it is. But those happen. They happen to all of us, which is why I think it's a good time to paint. And I'll have to say thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us today, because, man, this is like my favorite thing to do, to take my mind off of everything and relax and hang out with you guys and see you chatting, answer some art questions, be in a very nice, chill place with painty friends.
Chill place, a little art R&R.
That's what we need.
That is what we need. This is Cero paper.
Wait,
I also want to say that.
Did we step yet?
No, this is all one step.
I just want to make sure.
I'm going to paint it and trace it on there in one step.
Well,
now you want this to be cool and not at all still uncured, because you don't want the Cero paper just to stick into the paint. And if the paint is warm or not dry, it will. But as long as the paint is not warm and is dry, it won't. I want to say hi to, I saw Dallas in the house, Jennifer Dallas from Bakersfield, California was in the house. They had a Bakersfield, California. It's funny, I didn't grow up in Bakersfield. I grew up in San Diego, but at some point you get away from California enough and then you start to feel like any California area is like, kind of like you want to shout it out. You're like, I've been away and there's different rules everywhere else in the world. It's crazy, my friends. I am taking the traceable. So what I do is I put the traceable, the dark yellow side down. Did you guys see that?
I saw it.
That's the part that transfers. And then with a low tack tape, that's a tape that won't pull up my paint or tear anything, I tape down both the carbon paper, the Cero paper, S-A-R-A-L paper. I like yellow and white. And then I also tape down in two places the traceable. And I'm going to take a sharpened pencil. Yes, I recognize this might be lining overkill, but it's what's here at my table. And you go over all of the major construction lines. These are the outside lines that build up your hat. Here.
They are the kitty shape.
I'm going to be kind of loose in general about it because, quite honestly, at the point you start painting it, a lot of this stuff goes away. You just want to press hard enough that you can see it go down. See how you can see it go down? You can check it if you've got it taped in a couple of places. I've got another. If you look at the upcoming lives and you open it up, not just on the landing where it just shows you a few, but if you open up the whole playlist, you'll see we're scheduled through September 16th.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You have a plan.
I have a plan, and here's what. Bless everyone. But I like to paint when I want to paint, and if it means I've got to call it early, I'm going to call it early.
You're going to point to the outfield and say, catch this.
Yeah, I'm going to point to the outfield and say, catch this. You guys watch my back, and I'm going to point forward. And I made sure I published it everywhere, so when someone comes by and like, so-and-so did, I'm like, nope, I published it 3 months ago. Nope, published. See this?
Is my
proof.
Artists are so funny. It's like, this is my orange pumpkin. No other pumpkin is like my pumpkin.
There's a lot of pumpkins like the other pumpkins.
This is the most original pumpkin ever.
I'm just saying the reference.
And then you look over and there's another pumpkin that was remarkably close to your pumpkin.
There's always another pumpkin.
Man!
Look, you can't own the topic of pumpkin.
You know what's funny?
Pumpkins belong to everybody, but your specific pumpkin can be yours.
It's when you find a pumpkin just like yours that's like 300 or 400 years old.
Oh, that happens more than you think. It definitely takes the shine off of I'm a special pony. Does. You're like, oh, that's just been here all along. It is a little disturbing, I have to tell you, quite honestly.
And the more art history you do, the more you realize you're
all been
probably
painted.
doing it.
But there's still room for originality, and there's still room for that. And I don't know what you're saying. I'm just saying my references are up.
No, I'm saying that
my references are up.
I think I'm saying that the world of art is diverse and complex, and things have been talked about for millennia.
My references are up.
Kitty cat.
Kitty cat. This reference was posted.
Kitty cat.
You know where it came from. My references are up. And also what's nice about this one is I posted this reference in Facebook on the page and, of course, also in group. So if you would like that, I'm getting a chalk pencil just to make sure I'm happy with my lines.
You know me, I'm always afraid of misstepping, but we're not stepping yet.
We're not stepping yet, but guess what? Now we are stepping.
We are?
Step, step, step.
Oh, good.
Step it up.
You know I'm
Step,
super excited about
step,
stepping. But you gotta take a picture, Cheetah. Get a picture.
He's going to take a picture. I will say hi. I'm going to tell them. I'm going to say hi to them on Facebook, and you should say hi on YouTube. Lynette Cotton Badham says, thank you for all you do, and I want to say thank you for being here today. Sharon says, hello from Finger Lakes of New York. Happy to be there. Hey, how do you like the Finger Lakes? Because I'm not that far from the Finger Lakes, and I want to go check them out. I've been like, that's something I want to do this summer with the kids. I'm Jennifer Dallas. I love watching your videos. I've learned so much. I appreciate that, Jennifer. I really do. And then Shannon Lynn says, I'm so glad you decided to do a cheetah and a baby cheetah at that. Yes, it's cutest face. I looked at all the cheetah faces and I was like, what cheetah face makes me feel super happy in my heart? And this cheetah face was the face that made me feel super happy in my heart. I'm going to put out a couple colors. I'm going to put out a little cad yellow. And I'm going to put out a little Mars Black and titanium white. And I'm going to do that to get into the background. Because we're going to do kind of a loose background in the background. It's going to be kind of scratchy and loose and groovy. Very low pressure for you at home. So you may be putting yourself under pressure. I don't know. Maybe you're like, under pressure.
Or you could be like, ice, ice baby. Okay, just.
Nope.
Don't you know it's, his is dun dun dun, tick, dun dun dun.
I heard the dun dun dun. Dun.
It has a tick. It makes it different.
Yeah, well, I got And then I'm gonna. So I take a little burnt sienna and a little cad yellow, and I'm gonna get kind of into a mid-warm brown. Right, kind of like you could use a yellow ochre if you didn't want to mix the color. And I'm going to start this is a number 12. The brush is a Raphael Paris Classics, but here's the deal, guys. Doesn't matter what brand it is. It's a Hog Bristle Bright, about a 1/2 inch wide. See that on a ruler? 1/2 inch wide. That's all you're talking about. You can use lots of different brushes. What you want on a bristle brush is that the little hairs here should be best dressed. They should be chunking hog. They should be interlocked. And they should also not fall out all over your canvas. We're just doing this as a big, kind of loose, chunky white painting. Right? Sometimes you can go more into the burnt sienna and that'll change it up a little bit in its tone. See how that changes up the tonality? Maybe a little more burnt sienna as I come around the corner. So more yellow over here, and then as I come around the corner, a little more burnt sienna. Because the background is bokeh, it really does take a lot of pressure off of us to be too specific about what we're seeing here. And I can add a little more burnt sienna as I go. And you can even kind of come into, say, a little black. That could imply a loose little bush. And bring that up there. And I'll go back into the white. And my pressure here is very light. Like sometimes I'm just bringing this right back over. Just trying to have a abstracted, loose, far away background. I'm going to rinse out because my color load was getting heavy. And I wipe this off on a towel, guys. That is the management of hog brushes. Now, we were at the retreat. And I know not all of you guys like hog. I know that. I love a hog, but it took me a minute to learn to manage my hog. Say hog again and again and again. I'm going to bring a lighter paint down here. This one is more burnt sienna and a little more cad yellow and a lot of white.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
What makes it that way?
My brush that I mixed into it.
What
makes it that way? Me. It didn't get into my brain and say, you will paint me this way. It could, but it didn't. But this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Frida Kahlo background. If you guys enjoyed that painting,
it's very loose and brushy.
Very loose and brushy. Doesn't expect a lot of us.
Is this dry brushing?
We are dry brushing and doing some wet into wet. So where it's dry, if I come back over it, I can do another layer that's a little dry brushed over it, and that also helps diffuse the focus. Because what are we trying to do? Diffuse the focus.
You're making it look like it's a fast kitty.
No, he's not fast. He's clearly not running. He's just the focus of the portrait. Sometimes in a portrait, you want to defocus the background a little bit so that
it's out of focus.
You want to defocus the background a little bit so that your main central character, be it this wonderful kitty cat or John, becomes the center of attention.
I really like the kitty, is what I get it. He just looks like fast standing still.
He does. Well, he is fast standing still. Though, interestingly enough, the elephant shrew is much faster. Yeah, I was up at late night watching nature shows. So.
I can say I know nothing about shrews except taming.
Yeah, the taming of the shrew. Ah, Pygmalion. Okay, so I'm coming forward and I'm just sort of dry brushing over the top with a little bit of a... See, I'm loading my brush with white and kind of creating a light.
That's very cool.
And I'm just coming over the top and it's very dry. And so can the brush get on it close? Can we get close? So what I want you guys to see is how when I go over the top, it just skips over the canvas. It's just skipping over the canvas, just coloring the top of it, and therefore diffusing it again on another layer. All right. And if you're happy with that background, which I am, I might want to feel like it's important to have a bit of lightness. I'm going to add a little more yellow to my white. Very important to have lightness around him so that the contrast is there. I'm adding a little yellow to the white and coming back and making sure that this is light, baby.
There's many, many happy birthdays to you.
Oh, it's not here yet.
Coming up, though.
I managed to not put a live on my birthday, though. That took some juggling.
I've
got them before, and I've got them after.
Yeah,
But I managed to not do it. I was like, man, I should have a watercolor on the first, but I'm just not going to. So see how that's just a very diffused background. Lovely, 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 happy background. That is step 1, and now we can go on to step 2.
Oh, no. Step 3.
You can yes, 3. Don't listen to me.
1,
you
2,
count at
4.
home.
3, sir. 1, 3. Oh, yes, right, 3.
Marion Gardiner says, hello, pleasure to be here. Excited to see this. I'm so glad you are here. And I'm sure John's got a few on YouTube to say hi to, and you need to eat my coffee. I got his hand wet with paint. Pretty much coming through, the only color we're going to add to our palette right now is a red. I'll come over to the yellow and add a little bit of a red. Sometimes it's nice to get an orange involved when you're doing fur. I am going to also mist my paint because I don't have a humidifier going. And I don't have my wet palette. Now, this is a micro mister. The other thing that you can use is a facial mister. And that can help you kind of add just a little moisture to your paint if it's just giving you grief. Mine is just cuter. And if you were wondering if that one was any good on Amazon, I've had it a couple weeks now and hasn't broken yet. Well, I mean, that's how I bought it. I was like, that is so cute. And it matches this other cute one that I really like. But are they junk? Because you don't know. And so, for this next
I think that's really funny that the testimonial is, I bought this on Amazon and it lasted more than a couple weeks.
I mean, is there any other testimonial? It's the size of the picture. It's the size I ordered. Because one of the first 2 things that go wrong with Amazon, it's either way bigger. Like once I ordered some lemongrass because it called, like one little recipe I was doing called for some lemongrass. And I was like, I'll get some dried lemongrass. And it was really cheap off of Amazon. And it was an 8-pound bag. I mean, it was so big. It was so big.
A bushel of spice.
I had to look up other things to do with lemongrass and then eventually gave up. There's that with Amazon. And then, of course, there's the, I'm so tiny. So you buy a chair and you think it's the best chair ever and it's a dollhouse chair. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was still a regular chair price, though. That's the other way they get you. And of course, there's no restitution for it, really.
Okay. I just was told the most
You-
awesome thing.
Okay. Do you have something from YouTube?
Cheetahs can't roar. They can only chirp, purr, and meow. Isn't that just like the cutest thing you've ever heard?
Chirpy chirp. They're real fast, though. I bet it's not cute when it eats your face. But yeah. But it chirps right when it eats your
when
face.
it's chirping and purring behind you, you're running it like
you're running with all you have in your soul. This coffee is good today. How are you guys doing?
They're doing really good. I have to say thanks to everybody who's out here with us today. It's really nice to see.
Thank you. Do you remember to text? We have text.
Yes, I do believe we did get them out.
You did get the text out?
I do believe so.
I'm so glad.
Yes.
We've been missing a few of those.
Oh, let's see here. Just for everybody's info. There it is, a button that I can push.
That I am in front of.
Not that one. No, come back. Come back.
I'm in front of it.
You're small.
There I am. So it's 33222.
It
They
is.
send the Art Sherpa 33222. Now,
look at that. It's all being weird.
Right now it's for North America, and that's kind of a bummer because obviously you guys are all over the world. But on our new website, our new system, we're going to have global texting, and I think that'll come with images so you can see what we're actually doing.
Patrons get images. So if you're a patron, a member of the artsherpa.com/patron,
yeah,
all of our patrons will immediately start getting image text as soon as that system goes live.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's nice to know.
Yeah, just and everyone else will have some opt-in options because sending people pictures is a little more, like.
I thought we could do it on the main system.
Oh, we can. We just,
okay.
It's like,
whatever. We haven't really worked that out. Can you tell?
Yeah, we're still working, but patrons definitely.
I want to welcome Emoji Club, everybody on Emoji Club, to YouTube. I really appreciate your support, and I want to welcome patrons of YouTube.
Yay.
Hey guys, be sure and check your community tab because they have some weird way that they show you stuff. We do have a Red Queen installment coming up. Sorry, I had to juggle her around. All right, I'm going to get this brush wet. This is a bright. This is a number 12 Textura. And just so you guys understand that brushes are such crazy sizes, this is a number 8 Art Sherpa. Brush sizes are not uniform. They're just kind of, I don't know, a way of numbering brushes. But this is a bright about the size of my thumbnail. I'm going to get a little of my orange together. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's nice to have a little orange. And I'll get my brown involved. And we're going to come here and just start to kind of block in. This process is called blocking in. This is when we're not going to paint the individual hair. We're not going to paint the fur. But we are going to start to paint some of the color and value that we're seeing on this Bibba cheetah. On the Bibba. Here's my best of Frank. On the Bibba. Blocking in is a very useful thing to do, but it really is. A little more brown and yellow. We're going to have to come through, and put hair and all of that in. I am going to pay somewhat attention to the directionality of the fur. So if it kind of blends out this way or I need to add a little bit of white, I might. Just a bit. I know I'm going to come back through and make more definitions of that. It's just about getting that first layer in. Like if I want to come around the eye, all around this eye, it's pretty light, isn't it? I'm going to make sure that I kind of begin to talk about those zones. Very excited about doing the eyes today on this particular big cat. I love doing big cat eyes like so much. It's like the best. I'm adding a little bit of white right there. Go around and just look for places that we could add a bit of white because there's some very specific light areas to the face. We might as well get those in. I'm going to put a little V down here. See the V going down here?
I see the V.
You want a little V? And then if there's a V over there, there's a V over here. And
the brushiness adds to the
It's
furriness.
going to, yeah, actually all this brushiness does help build up your furriness.
Huh.
Furriness is next to brushiness.
Joe says that apparently cheetahs are the only wild cat with black noses.
Really?
I did
Dude,
not
you guys know
that.
a lot about cheetahs.
They got the cheetah facts.
You got the cheetah facts. You really do that. Seriously. You guys have some cheetah facts really going. I'm going to take a little bit of my brown and yellow. Kind of come down here. You know, we've got black and we've got some other colors, but I want to make sure we've got a nice base of the fur. And I'm going to use my burnt sienna and my yellow and a little white to sort of capture that. Block it in. Doesn't have to cover. The reason we paint the canvas brown ahead is so you don't have to be too precious about every brush stroke. It lets you build up in layers.
Oh, Grumpy Bunny just sent the biggest, cutest hug. So I
love hugs.
I
We
don't
need a
know
hug.
how Grumpy Bunny is grumpy, but that's very lovely, Bunny.
I would tell you what happened to John this week, but I don't know if I can.
We're gonna skip it and talk about it next week.
When we find out when we can, I'm going to tell you a story next week that is going to shock you to your core. But you'll still keep painting. Don't worry about it. It's not going to take you away from painting. It's just like
we're just gonna say thank you to Grumpy Bunny.
So thank you for the hug. All I'm going to say is, Grumpy, when you look back at this, when you find out what happened, you're like, I'm so glad I gave him a hug. You're going to be like that. Also, we're all going to have to make John a lookout shirt. But I'm not gonna. I'm just doing the same. It's a little bit very similar to our background color, but a bit different. And then when we put the grays and blacks in, it will start to pull out from the background.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get a little more. Sometimes I'm going to get a little black into this right here. A bit gray. Because, you know, this fur is in shadow.
Poppy says you look glowing.
Do I?
You do.
Oh, that is really good to hear.
And then
that is
Luis,
really good to hear.
Oh, wow. There's a cool button.
So, you know, I went and got my COVID vaccine, right? I got the double Moderna. But because I was shut in, I didn't get the flu shot. Get the flu shot.
Okay, can I say something? Something totally cool? Okay, so Luis.
Hi, Luis.
Said...
a little gray here all around this chin area.
Said, blessing from a Miami artist, but said it in Spanish.
Oh, cool.
And said, I think it's Benecidos. Dude, I'm not going to... This is Miami artista. So I kind of was like, that's Spanish.
Did you Google it?
Okay,
Is that how you got there?
No, this is why I'm telling you it's so cool. There's a button underneath it said translate this. And
I
just
love
bing
that.
and
I
translated
love
it.
the translate now button.
See translation. So thank you, Luis.
I think it makes the world a better and friendlier place.
I do too. I think it's awesome.
I do. It's awesome. I'm taking a little bit of this gray fur and making sure I got some of that there. We're doing a little gray fur around his chin, right? Because a bit of a shadow when we have one. A bit. There'll be many layers. Fur is many layers. But just making sure that we've got that. Blocking in. It's a hot mess when you block in. But don't let that deter you. A burnt sienna and yellow again, my friends. And a little white. We're going to get the white going again. And I'm turning this just so that I have a good angle around the eye and I can use the corner of my brush. You'll notice even on areas that are pointed, I don't necessarily switch out to a round brush. And the reason that is that I can kind of control this brush or any brush enough to just not have to switch out all the time. And that's a place you want to kind of get to. It's a goal. You want to get to where you switch out for preferences and because you're like, I just feel like being in a different brush, but not because you feel like, ooh, I have to switch out because otherwise I am trapped. Right? Put a little of that there. I think there's a bit of light hair here and maybe a bit there. But I think we're good on the light marks. And then we're going to go through and again, back to the orange and kind of fur out the rest of the face. So back to the yellow and red and a bit of brown.
I'm going to give an art high five to Patty, who just joined us.
Hi, Patty.
Sent us over a wonderful super chat.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Patty.
And thank you to all the patrons out there. I also see that we got Grumpy Bunny and Patty and anybody else that I missed because I didn't see all the little scrolly up things. I'm super sorry, but we love you and appreciate all your help. And
we really do. We do. And we want you to know that we take all of your patronage and put it back into the show. That's why you have schedules until the 16th. Just goes right back in. Take it very seriously and try to make sure that your trust is earned.
There's I would say that she has a really interesting set of videos coming up, and some test and tip projects that are sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, the test and tip projects, as we finish them, we'll put them out as a premiere. So you guys can save them and come chat for them. And then the lives are scheduled out through September 16th, so you know what we're painting. I was just like, these are all the things I want to do this fall, and I'm not giving up the ground again. I'm not giving up the ground anymore. These are what we're painting, and I've called it like Babe Ruth in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my licenses. I paid my fees. My photographers are taken care of, and I'm seeing you there. You know what I mean?
I do.
I'm taking my yellow and my red and just kind of bringing that here. And I want to take it down too far because as you go down, it gets a little bit lighter and a little less into that yellow and brown. But we'll just kind of come here and then I'll get into this white.
Yeah, I want to thank
Around
everyone.
here with yellow. Yeah, you want to thank everyone?
We have a lot of people who patron us in non-monetary ways, and I want to
Yes.
thank all of them. People who share, comment, like, and especially when you paint a painting and you share it up on your page and let us see what you did.
Yeah.
We can learn together better as a community. So it so helps us when you share up what you're doing, and we can learn from you on how to better teach painting.
It's important, guys.
So
we wouldn't be here but for the people who were there for us, just sharing videos.
thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah. So every share, every comment, every painting where you tag back to us, it all makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just coming back with a little of that orange, making sure I've got some. And you'll notice it's not perfect, and it doesn't need to be perfect in any way. We're just coming in here and starting to talk about what's going on. I'm going to take a little of my black. And there's an interesting little space coming down the ear that definitely will have this. And to get into it, I will have to have black to paint over is really what it is. So I'm going to put the black there now inside the ears, and that way I can come back with my fur stuff and be painting over the deep shadow of the ear. You know. And I'm going to do the eyes and the nose separate as we do. So let's call this a step. Steppity step step.
Okay.
Locking in. It's when your painting looks crazy. Best part.
Make sure I got my step button.
Missed my stuff.
Ready to
I'll
go.
miss my paint and sip my coffee is what I'm going to do. Missed my paint and sip my coffee. It was a really good retreat, guys. I had a lot of fun. Painting in person is different than painting online. And I love to get to be there and like troubleshoot in the moment, you know, or encourage in the moment or be there in the moment. And so I'm a little like elevated from that. That was really fun for me. Oh, the sandbag is just, look at this. I've got this sandbag that's messing with my paper. I just want my paper to be flat. I'm not at all fussy. My tape, he took the whole thing. Takes the whole table. Isn't that wild? All right, let's see what's going on over here. Hello, guys. So whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube, what is this? I teach art for free. I've done it for about 7 years online. I specialize in beginners because I think y'all are the most awesome. If you check the description below, you'll see more information about the painting. Go by the website for the free resources like the traceable and the mini book as it comes up, or step-by-steps, because I try to make step-by-steps out of these cool step-by-step pictures. And you can see what all is planned through September 16th on the live tab.
Mm-hmm.
So many fall paintings, so many topics, so many cute animals, so many cute dogs for BAQ. So many. Now, this eye. We're going to paint it.
Yeah.
We're going to paint that eye. I'm going to get my number 4 round, which is what I like to do on the eyes. And we're going to start to talk about that. At this stage, I have started I used to put the eyes in last. But what I found is if I can get the eyes in early and the nose in early, then you guys feel a little better about your painting and we can go through the busy business of fur.
Mm.
So we're going to do that.
Because once you get those eyes upon you, you can't stop.
You cannot once it's looking into your soul.
You can see
So I'm going to start out with some black, and I'm thinning it with a little water so that it'll flow off my brush nicely. And I'm going to come here and start to paint in the black of the eye. Around the edge here, and then over the top. Of course, we'll want to come down. Wonderful cat eye. Cat eyes, all cat eyes are sort of a joy to paint. Just in general, all eyes are a joy to paint, but I really love painting cat eyes because, probably because they're apex predators. To be honest, they have a way of looking into you, right into your soul. Because they're probably like assessing, are you tasty or are you not tasty? Are you tasty? It's probably a very intense conversation for themselves in their head. But you're like, it's seeing my soul. Because it's tasting your soul. It's assessing your tastiness. But they look right into you. And you can really paint that intensity. So I really love doing these. I'm going to come here and I kind of got to make sure that I'm arced on the top on both sides. Now, on any eyeball, there's kind of a thing that happens. There will be an area that's lit up sort of around here in the U on the bottom, and then an area in shadow at the top. And that's really what we've got to work out, and then we will get, might as well start to put that in because, that's the most cheetah part of the cheetah, right? Those little stripe, racing stripes. Sometimes I thin my paint just to improve it, so you'll see me rinse out even if I go back to the black because I'm trying to improve it. I'm going to start to put the pupils in now, even though half of the eye is going to be in a shadow and a reflection. It's just a nice time to check, see how I'm doing with my placement. A little bit off. I got my one pupil kind of up a bit high, but I can absolutely trim it back. There we go. So when they're looking at you, their eyes tend to like laser up and stare at you. So we want to definitely capture that. The eyes are brown, right? And let's begin with a little brown and black. Get that rich color going in first. Eyes tend to have a dark outer ring and then light as you approach the pupil and then a shadow over the top. So I'm going to bring a little bit of my brown and black in. It's not fully black. It's just a depth. I don't want to take out my lid. It definitely deepens the eyes. And for a minute, you will lose like what you have in because the one coat of sienna gives you an idea of the direction that we're going because it was luminous. We're going to come back to luminous, but we also need room for the depth. So dark like that. Let's dry it.
And while she's drying that, I'm going to say thank you guys all for coming out and joining us today. We love seeing you, love having you out here. She's back so fast. Hold on.
So let's get a picture of this, and that way maybe we can zoom in on the eye on the steps.
Okay.
And on this one, I'll break down the steps of the eye so you can see it at least in 3 stages to understand how it's built, because what you can see, you can do. So it may add a few steps to the painting, but I think it will improve your result overall to see the eye broken down. Break down the eye. Break down, break down, break down. I see that Colleen Marie, hi Colleen, how are you doing today, is here. And I see Andrea Schramm saying, me too, I have a hard time with fur. We're going to get in. Debbie Lake says she's coming in late. Just bring the donuts, Debbie. We're going to get into the fur. We're going to get into it. Bring it all in the fur. We're going to throw some fur. We're going to be furry. Fur's fun.
Okay.
It's tool specific. Sometimes tools can really help you with fur. Directionality, brush stroke, value, and tools really can kind of get you through fur. As we talked about, we're going to start to put some light in the lid, and that's going to begin with a little bit of the orange. Take a little brown into it. And you can come underneath here with the brush, and we're going to just brush that beginning of the glow that we were talking about. And already you're kind of seeing it. You're already kind of seeing it. That's an important thing. The way the light reflects and shine on eyeballs really is what gives them their look, as if they're, you can see the soul. Really is what you can see is the light. Oh, there we go. So we're starting to see that gorgeous glow. I can get into a little more red and yellow. It's fun to sort of play some exaggeration with the color. And that's just because we're trying to be dramatic. Be dramatic. A little orange on the inside. Even more yellow. A little brown. Lots of yellow. A little brown. I'm just tapping this in right here. And capture that little U. So it's really starting to stare out at you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to get a little of my brown and black again, and almost a glaze of it, which just means it's a thin, fluid, transparent coat. And I'm going to come over the top of the eye with that. And I'll drop that in shadow because it would have a shadow. The eye often has that shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Those lids are important to the cat. Cat needs them to see and shade its eyes from the bright, bright sun. Yep. I stay up at night and can't sleep and watch animal documentaries.
All of the ones by Zafrank I watch.
That's what John watches, is the Frank documentary.
He gets me, you know,
Facts about the cheetah.
all the facts I need to know I get from Zafrank.
I'm just reinforcing the dark outer lid that we have on the eye, and you can come in and even reinforce the pupil a bit.
We had some stars. Where did they go?
And I'm going to add a little burnt sienna, just kind of
Marcy.
the outside here coming in, tapping in a little bit, making sure that we got some of that in the lighting. Burnt sienna, just burnt sienna. Nice. Light in the eye. Look at the light in the eyes. It is looking good. You need the light. Do we have stars? I appreciate stars. Thank you for the stars. I do appreciate stars. I'll just be here and make sure that I've got a nice. Just tapping that out. Now, we're going to call that layer, and then in the end, what we do is the deep shadows and the light reflections where the eye all suddenly is the most eye you've ever seen. So let's call it step, take a picture of it, and that way when you look at the mini book later, you're like, how did that happen? You can see that breaking down in a little more slow, sequential way. You guys really can do anything. You just need a combination of perseverance, like you've got to practice. It takes a minute to get the muscle memory with the brush skills. It just does. You can understand it, you can see it, you can feel it, you can visualize it in your mind perfectly. It takes a minute to wire up that conversation between your body and your mind. You got to give yourself some space there. And then you've got to be able to see the steps. You shouldn't ever expect yourself just to know the steps of a painting. That construction is something that's learned over time. So, you know, you got to start to see the steps, and you follow along with me, and you'll start to anchor them, and you'll be like, oh, I get what's going on here. I'm going to put out some fluid paint, some fluid white, and then I'm going to put out some titanium. I don't know why I'm saying it. I'm going to put out some phthalo blue for the eye reflection, which I really like. And I may put out a little more white paint that's fresh, and then I'm going to mist everything just to keep it going. Just to keep it going. Because this is where we're going to get all about it. Right? So the first thing that I'm going to want to do is there's a reflection in the eye where I'm going to take a little of the blue and white together. I'm going to come over the top on the toe of my brush, kind of right across that pupil. And this is almost like the sky, or the area around the cat will reflect light as well. I'm going to come in with a little of the blue and white on the inside of the eye, a little bit on the outside of the eye. Getting that going. A little blue and white.
That's so cool.
It's a lot of fun. Now, when I have that in, where that kind of start of reflection is in, then I'm going to come through with my #1 monogram liner, which is just a very detailed brush. Come along where the eye meets the lid. Add a bit of a top pot reflection. I'm going to come into this part of the reflection and add a bit of a pop pot reflection there too. Pop it. A little bit on the inside of that eye as well. And let's pop a bit of that reflection. And how we just have eyes that are popping. I'm going to get my monogram liner and I'm going to get into my dark paint. And I'm going to just make sure my lines are as thin as I want and where I want. A little detailing. Don't be afraid to go back and be doing some detailing. You know, back over the top. Back over the top. Hey guys, we painted some eyes.
Whoa.
And this is really the big thing. I'm going to do another cool thing. I'm going to take a little white over into my yellow. Just to exaggerate the world. I'm going to tap up and down a little bit here. Some inner light color. Can be nice to have. Just that extra glow. You need the extra glow. All right, there we go. Glowing at you. Call the step, and then we'll do the nose. And heat my coffee too. Yay! I'm sorry. Andrea Martin says, hi, I'm finally watching a live. Hi, Andrea Martin. And Debbie Lake, so glad we can come back to this. Oh, yeah. This is on the website, on YouTube and Facebook, in playlists for you guys to watch anytime. You just pick the platform that's giving you the best service in the moment. Marcy Clark, thank you so much for the stars. I'm just catching up on chat while we're microwaving. You guys can stand up and get a coffee, stretch your bodies, stretch your back. When is the book coming out, and how do I get one, Andrea? When is the book coming out? How does she get one? Well, the mini books are free, and you go to the website to the file section and you download them, and they take about a week or so for us to get out because we go back with the video and handwrite out the chapter. There are a bunch of them there just waiting for free. And we're hoping to eventually make proper official book that you guys can buy on Amazon, but we're still working out our challenges around that. That's its own weird. I'm going to so pop a champagne when I finally get that worked out. So much champagne am I going to pop? That's nice. I'm going to pop that. So working that out. And if you don't see a mini book for about a week, just write support@theartsherpa.com, and we'll let you know, like, if it's a day or two behind, or give you a direct link to it if you're having trouble finding it. I don't mind. We don't mind. You know, it's a website and we try to make it a good user experience, but the truth is sometimes it's challenging. When you have over 1,000 videos, when you have 1,000 classes that you've been doing over 7 years, it can be challenging to help everybody find everything.
There's a
like,
few of them
they're
around.
like, do you have a video for this? I'm like, oh yeah, like what kind you want? Because I got a lot of video about that. And then I have videos where I feel like I did better explaining something sometimes than I did in another time. So I might update a video or reteach a concept and go back to that. So when people are like, hey, what's the best one for this? Like if you want to know about fur, I have a whole fur playlist. Like with many, many videos about fur. One of them's going to click. One of them will click. I don't know which one it is, but one of them will click.
It's true.
First things to know about fur is there's types of brushes that can really help you. This is a fan brush that's hog. This is a rake brush that's synthetic. This is another rake brush. I think this is the Zen by Royal and Langnickel. It's okay. I really like the grass combs very much, and I don't mind the grainer. I don't know where there's the grainer. And this is a grainer. This is a Princeton grainer and a silver brush grass comb. These are both really good. What do these do? These make the fur brush stroke a lot easier to get because it does it for you. It does several at a time and it does it random. The issue why I don't use these is because it's a very spaced. You have to work hard to blend it. You have to blend those spacings, whereas this doesn't ask me to do that. They both will work. I have found them in Simply Simmons combs. Whenever you see it called a comb, and these are like angles and rounds and filberts and all the shapes. So there's options for you guys. You're not stuck. But let's start with a fan. That's a good way to start, and everyone has access to it. This is a hog. If you were to do a synthetic, it would be too soft for this technique. You do want a hog or stiff synthetic like the Art Sherpa fan, which is a stiff synthetic as well. Either one is fine. I'm going to get this kind of wet. I'm going to come here and we're going to start to maybe too wet. See how that's too wet on the thing? Too wet. Too wet. I'm going to get a little black and brown and I'm going to start to speak to yellow to it. I'm not liking that.
No?
It's too clunky.
Too clunky.
Yeah, it's too clunky. I'm going to get back into my base colors, which is my yellow and red and a bit of brown. Let's start here. Directionality of fur is a big deal. The direction the fur is heading is something that we do want to pay attention to. So if on his little head it's curving up, we want to get that. To get that to work here, I need to bring the brush strokes kind of up at a curve. See how I'm sort of sweeping this brush into this? We're going to make a little cowlick here. This is the red and yellow and brown. And I do want to make sure that I'm sweeping the right way. Now in the ears, gotta kind of sweep back this way. Start to think about how that sweeps, right? And red, yellow, and brown. And let's start to soften that, sweeping in. These are just the beginnings of that conversation. Putting another layer in, adding those base colors for our fur. Definitely probably going to go through with a smaller brush through the ear. Like right here, this is about the range we want.
Yeah.
I'm going to come in and do sort of the same thing on the other side. If you're painting and you feel like, you know, hey, this isn't flowing the way I want, stop and evaluate why, like I did there. Stop and go, why isn't it where I want it to be? And then take the time to make those corrections. You're not, you know, having to turn your homework in by, you know, a certain time. There's no causality for you to rush through anything. And just start to push that concept up. So this is me using the fan. I still prefer the comb. I just want you guys to see the fan. because you might have an easier time finding a fan. I want you to understand how it's used for fur. You can also just use any brush. One of the things you'll notice that the directionality of the fur on the face there, what direction does it go? Like down the nose?
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to those. Pay attention to up here. I'm going to switch to my grass comb just to make my life. And with the grass comb, I like to keep the brush a little bit wetter. I'm going to come in and make my light fur color, which is my yellow and brown and some white. And I'm going to begin to see how that's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Brush in the little direction of fur in the ear. I'm coming on the inside of the ear because I have to layer out. And so I want to make sure that I've got this, ready for that. And so I'm just checking my flow. Another thing I can do is come around here and check my angles. You can always, I'm going to use my fluid paint where I need to. Lighter around the edge of this ear. If you don't have any of these, try to get down into like a round brush and just work it out. Give yourself some extra time to just do the flow of the brush stroke. So I'm going to do it here. I'm just flowing the brush stroke.
I do.
I can get the same technique. It just takes me a little extra time. Give yourself the extra time. I get one to my burnt sienna. And I'm coming in. You guys see that you can do it without the specialty brush. You just have to take a few more brush strokes. That's where the differences are. And sometimes you might find that you prefer that. You might find that you like to come in and take a little black and piece out maybe a little bit of the lip in the air. Maybe you like to take a little black. And paint back in. I certainly like to take a little black. I'm just on my number 4 round. I'm not using a specialty brush. I could do the whole painting with one good round. It would take us a minute.
It would be a moment.
But I could do it. And you can do it too. So if you have what you have as a good round, you're okay. And it's important you guys remember this, are not teaching a painting show live. You have no one to answer to, nowhere to be, nothing to do but this. Be in that moment. I want to come here and brush up a little dark fur. I can do that. And coming up here. Now I'm going to layer over that in a minute. But why not have that ready for the layer? Why not? You can. You can have it ready for the layer. Little red, little brown, little yellow. I mean, we just made like red, yellow, and blue with secondary colors. We can color mix anything, right? We can do that. We can color mix anything. I can come back with a little white and yellow. Let's finish this out. You are?
I am.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do that over on the other ear. Come across the head and start to think about those things a little bit as we're pulling in those dynamics. Orange and brown. So there's this wonderful little kind of upward scoop of the fur. I'm just paying attention to the directionality of the fur. That's what we're trying to talk about, is the directionality of the fur. I've got a little bit of that orange brown coming up from the ear. I can bring it through here. Just might as well enjoy. You can get more into the brown. You can get into the black. Come up here at the top of the ear. Brown and black. Start to talk about that.
Huh.
Make some irregular shapes inside the ears. It's really fast. I love animal ears. They're really interesting to look at. They always have a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Take a little black. Make sure that I've got perhaps a little of the shaping going on here. If you don't have a grainer or a comb though, and you're going to be painting like a lot, I do suggest getting one. I do suggest coming in and giving yourself time and going ahead and getting one. I think you will not be sorry that you did.
No.
Just bringing that up there. You can see it definitely impacts everything.
Mm-hmm.
Creates a little drama that's enjoyable. I can go into my yellow. Put that there. Just starting ears. This is not the finish of the ears. This is just me thinking about the ears and the top of the head a little bit. And come here, and while I'm at it, I can take a little bit of my black and brown.
Mm-hmm.
You can use the number 4 round. You can. Or you can come in and get a grass comber with me. All okay. It won't be wrong. Just putting in these distant little wild hairs. Got a couple little wild hairs, and we've got to sort of blend them out in the light colors. I very much enjoy these.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that they're there. We'll come in and get the patterning going in a little bit. By getting them up there, you've got them. Let's call that a step, and then we'll come back and do some more.
Ooh.
It's going to be so pretty when it's done. So pretty when it's done. And yours is going to be so pretty when it's done. So, the lesson here is tools are awesome and they can help. You can do fur with a fan. You can do fur with a round brush. You can do fur with a hog brush that's kind of like a little bit crazy. You can do them with a grainer, or a comb. And there are a lot of places to get those. Those are available at Joann's. Those are available at Michael's. Those are available online. You can find them. Let's work on the nose a little bit. Why not, right? Number 4 round. There it is. I'm going to take a little of my blue over to my black. Kind of make a blue-gray. If you did my 403 color recipes, you will know I like this color quite a lot. And I'm going to come to the top of the nose. And it's a good time to do this because we have short fur that will be coming over this portion of the nose soon. And having that in will really help that happen. I'm on my number 4 round, and I'm just painting this light gray, mid-gray to the top of the nose. Sometimes I'm looking for, a value, like I know I've got to get a little light reflection inside the nostril.
Mm-hmm.
trying to find those little spaces where you capture the shape. Besides cat's nose. And it's a little challenging to capture the shapes of the noses. Their noses are they're very complicated structured. They are. Super complicated structure.
They must be able to smell things on the wind at very fast speeds.
They do. They need to be able to smell things far away at fast speeds. They have a lot of information that they need. They need to know where other cats live. So they don't just go walking into territory that they shouldn't be in. They come underneath that. It's just trying to make sure we have the right shape. So I find in these moments, you know, you just want to slow down and just observe. We got to get that first part of the shape in, which is sort of the, I don't know, I want to say it's like an arrowhead. Mm-hmm. Like a pointed triangle. Really fantastic shape to the nose. And back into the blue and black where it's needed. In the gray. A little more gray than that. The top of the nose, and then there's a nice little curl that happens. Mm-hmm. I like the curl. Getting some nostrils in there, right? Some breathy things. The coming out the nose is a bit kind of a little bit of gray, kind of right here at the base of the nostril will start to come out like that. I'm using my white to get it. Talking a little bit about the hairs right here. Into the darker color because I've got to get under the mouth. Mm-hmm. And that's a shadow, right? Under there.
Oh, the kitty smile.
Getting this line because I've got to layer fur over it for it to work. I've got to get the fur over it to work. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take a little of my yellow and brown and some white. And come under here. Maybe start to think about, this is my comb again. Some of that texture. Back with a lighter. And then it'll be at top. You will have to like layer the little furs over that. So it's about really just making sure that this here at the corner has enough of a bit there. And I'm going to be looking up. You'll see me looking up every once in a while just to check my work. Check your work. Check your work. And come in and talk about the nostril a bit. And then the shading under that comes out. Getting that there. Now, one of the things that I definitely want to do is I'm going to take a little of my brown and black together.
Mm-hmm.
And on the front of the nose, paint in that sort of, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it's not our deepest black.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of the texture of the nose that you can see. Sometimes if you get certain things exactly locked in, and then you can be a little more chill with other aspects.
That's a nice nose.
It's getting there. I'm liking it. Starting to be a thing. And that's the thing. We want it to start to be a thing.
Yeah.
Right. Make sure that there's some dark to put white hairs over. Really close to the. We'll come in there and get that in a second. I'm going to come in and grab a little of my light gray. A little bit on the interior of the nose.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of my light gray on the interior of the nose. Comes down a bit. I like a little bit of a highlight at the top. See that there?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit there. Little highlights. Little lowlights. These are the things that make it all work. And the deep black where it goes. Now the trick will be that I've got to get kind of a yellow brown together. And then a very light color from that. That'll be the light fur color. And then just as delicately as I can. Gonna come in there. Using the comb. Could use a round brush. Making sure that that little fur is okay.
Oh, whiskeries.
Yeah, just like trying to capture. There's this short hair that also happens. And we've got time. Getting it in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And try to come back here and just between them, they've got a bit of some short hairs that I want to very delicately put in. I'm going to move my palette just a little bit turned towards me. You can turn your canvas towards you if you're sitting or standing, just to get a better angle.
Madeline wanted to send a lovely message of thank you that I'll pass along.
Oh, thank you, Madeline.
She says, You guys are amazing, offering the same patron membership service at any price. That's a first with only a suggestion of a $15 base price. Thank you so much for everything, John and Cinnamon.
You
Oh,
are
thank you,
so
Madeline.
welcome. I am so glad that has been appreciated.
You want to explain what that means?
So, man, we have a lot of people that want to support us, but everybody is at different places in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, your budget is your budget. I've certainly been in places in my life where my budget is my budget. So what we decided to do, because I do not like to separate people up by levels, we're just like, what we give for the patronage, we give to everybody. You guys set what you can afford. And $15 is our suggested ask, but it really is just a suggestion. And you just, you can do more, you can do less. That's on our website. YouTube has it locked in where we don't have that kind of flexibility. But if you're on YouTube and you're a patron, then I guess they take away your ads and they give you emoji clubs. So there's different perks. But if you go to our website and say, hey, I'm a patron on YouTube, you get all the same perks. Mm-hmm. We give it all to you like you sign up through the website. So however you want to do it, it's completely cool with us. And you support us making these shows. You get to name the paintings. Sometimes you get to see stuff early. Sometimes you get exclusive lessons. Just whatever extra we can give you, we try to do that. Definitely you guys get to see content early. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And everybody helps us just keep going. I really appreciate it. So that's what she means. And we're really glad to do that because, life changes. I don't mean to quote Ferris Bueller, but life changes pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who's willing to help us, we're grateful for that. We don't want to be like, oh, you can only help us for this amount. It just seemed weird. And again, sometimes people, they can do like monetarily a lot, but they can't do a lot of time. Right? Different ways that people, support each other. You take somebody that's always commenting online about everybody's art. Maybe they're giving a lot of time. I'm just adding a little bit of that for short white hair. Starting to think about where that's going to go. And you can see that really starts to make everything take shape pretty fast. When the cheetah comes together, the cheetah can come together real fast. I'm really excited to show how to do the patterning on this too. Yes, you could probably use a yellow ochre and maybe shorten some of your color mixes, but honestly, it's just as fine to mix it. It's good for you guys to learn how to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to come under the eye here and just make sure we're starting to. Come along here. Just doing the things. Now, while I've got this color here, I'm going to also come up here and mix this in. I'm mixing it in. Mm-hmm. And come along the top of the ear. Come along the top of the ear. There's a little bit of an edge.
Top of the ear edge.
Top of the ear, a little bit of an edge. Mixing in the colors. This little hair back here tends to be a little bit of a mix. So I like to try to start to speak to it a little bit. That's a little heavy with my brush, but what I'll do is I'll come back through and you can just look. You can literally chill it out. You can either blend it in or chill it out. Either will work. Let's call this a step. Mm-hmm. We have a lot going on and we painted a lot of the cat. Look at that. This is a cheetah-looking cheetah, isn't it? Cheetah-looking cheetah. Cheetah-looking cheetah. You know that cheetah? You can do this. If you're freaking out right now because you're like, oh my gosh, I love cheetahs, so I did this lesson and I thought, what does that 3-hoot thing mean? Generally what it means is that there's more techniques in the painting. There might be more tools used than in the other paintings, and the time in the lesson itself is a little bit longer. For you at home, if you're really new to painting, what you want to calculate for that is if you really want to do the painting, then just give yourself a minute. Slow down. Do 15 minutes at a time. Take it into little micro bites. Just do one of the steps and get through the step. Remember, you can always go back and find a step again because we timestamp them. So that's a good thing that you can do. And the thing is that you can do anything if you can see it and it's explained to you, and you have the tools and materials for it. Sometimes you've got a little muscle memory that you've got to get into, but really, it's in you. I have my beginners broken up into 3 stages. 1 hoot, haven't painted since grade school or ever at all, maybe. 2 hoot is either maybe it's been a minute since I've painted, or you've been painting with me for a minute and you've done like 20 or so painting. Those tend to have a few more complicated techniques. I only ever use this one color palette now in 2021, but it used to be that maybe some more colors were in there, and we would go along a little bit longer. And 3 hoots are where you pull all those skills that you kind of have built up in the 2 hoot section together to throw them out. But I've had a lot of people do 3 hoot paintings, you know, when they were in their 2 hoot journey. It just takes you more time. It's all it is. So if you're feeling like frustrated, I want you to take a deep breath with me and go, 1, this is art. So if you're feeling a lot of pressure in your outcome, you're probably applying a lot of life skills that you've learned from other aspects of your life into your painting, and you don't want to do that. You want to realize just art, just techniques, just layers. Even if I don't get it today, I probably will get it tomorrow. It's about cumulative perseverance, right? So breathe in, breathe out, right? You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about being an artist. You are an artist. If you're painting with me today, guess what? You're an artist. You know, even by all definitions of artists, you're an artist. Have we done the step? Okay. So the furthest back hair I'm going to start on now, just because we're going to be layering and layering and layering. And I'm going to begin with, I think, my light color, which again is the yellow and the burnt sienna together. I'm going to mist it so it's a little more fluid for me. Make sure I get my water in there. And I'm going to get a lot of white into my brush because I want a light color. Right? I'm just going to use up this other white because I have it here. And let's start by really getting into these far areas. And I'm going to curve up my brush. If I have to go like even into pure white where it kind of shows over the background, that's okay. You know. And we're going to come here and I want you to find little spots. It's not every spot. Just like, so one of the things when people see cheetahs, they see the black spots, but they don't see the white or the middle range. There are actually lots of little irregular shapes and dots. And so you can come in and actually start to paint the cheetah by painting even the light spot, by beginning those little moments that you've got that are going on. You know, as I come into different areas, maybe I'll use more burnt sienna. But what I will keep doing is a light value. I'm randomizing and also using my reference as guide. It takes a minute to learn to see. One of the things we were doing at the retreat was really talking about the process of how do we see something? What are we looking at? You know, if you're looking at the cheetah, what part of it do you focus on? Because sometimes when you're very new to painting, it's really overwhelming, which is why having a teacher and a step-by-step tutorial is good because it helps you not get lost in the decisions that you have to make. When you've been painting for a long, long time, you'll start to see those decisions in the reference photo or in nature or in the moment, and you'll make those easier. But when you're very, very new to painting, it can be hard to make those decisions. So, doesn't mean you're not a great artist. Doesn't mean you're not amazing at what you do. It just means that these choices can be harder to make. Coming through here. I think John's making me fresh coffee because it's been a nice long class. Do you guys like the nice long classes? I'll tell you what, like I put this up because I was like, I love my vacation, like having a little break after the retreat, but I am so glad to be back and teaching. And even tell you how much I enjoy it. Notice that I do curl my brush stroke when I'm trying to get these kind of effects done. And the reason I showed you with the number 4 round up in the ears is so you don't think you have to have the brush. But yes, you could do it with a round. It just takes longer. You would just do these little clumps painted by hand, and it would just take you a little longer. That is all. Doesn't mean you have to go shopping. So I think shopping is fun. You got to do what's right for you in this moment. You can see him just starting to pull. Oh, nummy, nummy, nummy. His little light furs around. And we started with the light spots instead of the dark spots. Kind of not the direction you probably thought you were going to go. But it's where we're going to go.
Let's see here. I think I was away getting coffee.
No, I appreciate that. It tastes so fresh and nummy and delicious. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
There it is. Edith, Ruth.
Hi, Edith. How are you doing? No,
She's doing really good, and she says, I'm glad you mentioned this. I can't afford this every month, but sometimes I can. Regardless of what I can help, I love what you do to help your followers. And Edith, Edie Ruth. There we go. Like I have to get close to it because I have like these.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Super funky
I'm
glasses.
blind.
Right. Man.
Some days we are, man. Some days I think I gotta go get that prescription updated for sure.
But Edie Ruth, thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And by the way, just so you guys know, we wouldn't be here if you guys didn't share, tell your friends, post online.
Mm-hmm.
All the ways that keep the channel going, like YouTube would love to suppress us, would love to take us down and make new content big. It would just make it so happy, but you guys keep sharing us, so we're still here.
It just wants the new shiny.
It wants the new. Wants to push out the new. Right? And it has a little run where it does that. And you guys have kept me there. Still afloat, still online. Couldn't have done it without you. In all seriousness. Kind of making sure that we have some nice little shadow here under the neck, right? This person shadow.
If you say so.
I do. Still kind of in that light range. Make sure that we separate up that little neck area. Rinse out a little bit. And then I'll get my brush dirty with the color again, which is the brown and the black, and then come over to the white, real light, right? Just blend it in. Isn't it wild how it blends it in?
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much. Oof. Now, I want you guys to see where this is because, again, we're doing the light dot. We're doing the black dots, like, not first. So that might seem a little, like, unusual to you. Let's stop here, and then we'll go do some of the face.
Okie dokie.
Some of the face. Some of the face. Some of the face. Some of the face. And I'll sip my coffee. Oh, goodness. Let me catch up to you guys over on Facebook. I see Colleen is guiding everyone. I see Lori Kavanaugh. And she's working on day 8, so I'm going to have to assume that's Acrylic April. If you don't know who I am, I teach art online, and once a year I go like out of my mind, like I'm selling used appliances, and I teach a painting every single day for 30 days based in a thought, concept, or theme. And this year we thought, everyone was kind of stuck at home, so I was like, landscape and water.
Mm-hmm.
Not a small topic, but it literally does go from the 1 Hoots through the 3 Hoots. So if you're ever wanting a free program that covers that, that's Acrylic April 2021, A Story of Water. The year before, we did do consecutive concept and skills, but the topics were varied. Next year, we're going to do shorter classes. We're going to get some of our beginners back in it, but I'm going to still give some challenges to you more experienced artists.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be like, oh, it's 30 minutes, but it's a hard 30.
And can I say, art high five to all the people who have joined our patronage during this show. We've had a lot of joins.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
And
thank you.
And I just Peaches, you know who you are. You got an awesome email name.
Peaches.
So Peaches, you know who you are. Art High Five, you got an awesome name.
Cool. Oh, I'm going to get myself fresh water. Do you see how dirty this water is? That water is too dirty.
Hmm.
I'm going to get myself some fresh water. So I'm going to also get into that. Remember, it's the yellow and the brown. And then some white. That's the warm, light fur. And let's talk a little bit about this. And we will probably definitely be adding some mid-warm. It's okay to be putting some of this light in the face. Sometimes I gotta just go in here and just be very gentle. And then short brush strokes around the muzzle, because that hair is all quite short. I'm doing.
I do.
Quite light around here. Quite light. I'm going to put some more of this out because I'm really enjoying it. The reason I'm enjoying it is that the pigmentation is so high and I'm not having to add water to thin it. That's making my job easier, and who doesn't like an easier job, right?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Little lighter. I'm just lightening it up, which is why you see me sometimes offload the brush. And short brush strokes down. I love the chin. Chin is important. Chin is important. And I'll come back with some white, but right now we're just trying to, get that. Little space of stuff. Again, you got to realize that there's white dots, black dots, and so we've got to get the different little dots in here to get the marking. Because that's how the kitty hides.
Mm.
Kitty wants to be very hidey, stealthy. This whole gig. Hidey, stealthy. I'll bring some of these out here. The beginnings of the side first. In a little triangle. I love how there's almost like a triangle of shape to a cheetah's face. And so you don't want to lose that in the painting of the dots in the cat. Rinse out. Just starting to get that fur in him. And already he's pretty recognizable as a cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not
Really
like,
is.
what is it? You're like, it's a cheetah. I'm going to get some just white. And if you'll notice when you have just white, it will show up over your off-white a bit. That does give you a little pop. A white penny chin.
Mm.
A little bit of white up here. Not. Don't get overwhelming with it. You just want little bits of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that there's a bit of a luminosity. Right. Now the next bit of hair is my yellow. Put that up really nicely, and a bit of red. So we're getting into that orange. with some brown. And it's going to need a little white. Sometimes you will have to change up the color a bit and pay attention to the directionality of this fur as well on the nose. It kind of does absolutely come in. There's some interesting things. I love the way it changes like a little bit of direction. It's actually kind of cool, kind of awesome.
It's really cool.
Bring in some of that. It's a light orange fur, and we're blending it in, just trying to capture some of the fur there.
Mm-hmm.
Grab a little yellow. Wait, let's come here and right over the nose. Super short stroke. Super short strokes right here. So short. Because that hair around the nose is short. Little triangle up. You know, maybe you noticed it, maybe you didn't. You know. Little wet. Painting that sort of little denting there. And put out some more brown. Brown is a very good color for cat, who is trying to hide in the bushes and the trees. It's a good choice. We're just building up that face. Look at that face.
It really is cool.
It is so cool. A little bit there in the nose. A little bit right there at the eye. See how we're creating that little divoting? A bit of shading at the eye. We are always shaping. Little brown around here. So much more than spots. When you spend any time with little cheetah hair, you'll notice that besides the spot patterning, there's a lot of breaking up of light even within the hair.
Yeah.
Where there's interspersion of different colors. Come up on the ear. You've just got to spend some time with it. You just do. And I'm just actually into the burnt sienna. We don't often work just from a pigment, but in this particular case, it's gonna, because it's a little bit of a glaze, and because it gives us a little bit of option, we kind of want the chance to do so. He's looking so gorgeous, isn't he?
Really is.
That moment you're like, yeah, really cool. Now I'm going to come back and lighten this up and add some brown and stuff, but I want to just get some of this in here. So we're playing with the patterning. It'll be easy to come back and lighten. Easy peasy, but it's nice to get some of this through. I'm going to come between the light spots and add some of these. Maybe put a little around here. The burnt sienna layer. Burnt sienna. I love nature painting. Do you guys like nature painting? I love nature painting. It is time intensive. You got to give yourself, I've paced out my classes so you don't have them back to back anymore to give you a chance to do all of them.
Huh.
So you get a couple of days to like complete up a project before the next one hits you. So hopefully you guys are going to like that. That's why you got to go by and figure out which ones you want to paint and hit the remind button on the playlist. And that's why I scheduled out so far in advance. So you guys could get a chance to see what was coming and what to plan for. Look at that. Let's call that a step.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's pretty much like fast and downhill from here. But it's just what it is. I think we got 2 more fur layers in here to make him perfect. For him to be perfect. Perfect. I did it. I did do it. 2 more fur layers. You can do that. You can do it. Yes. Fur is fatiguing. If you're sitting at your home going, oh my gosh, I had no idea painting fur would wear me out. Yes. It's why everybody doesn't do it. It's because they start and they're like, woo, this is hard, but that doesn't stop you. You've got it in you. You have it in your heart. This cat is in your heart. You can do this. You're just going to what? Follow the directionality of the fur, break up the patterning, layer it up, and eventually, from the canvas revealed, will be gorgeous cheetah for you to enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we're going to come back, but let's for now come into our black and do some patterning. We're going to get our black. I'm going to get it a bit wet. I'm still using, this is a 1/2 inch grass comb, guys. You could have used the grainer. This 3/8 grainer would have worked just as well on this whole page. Or a round brush where you just work very slowly. The trick to this will be the irregular shaping. Some dots are bigger. Some dots are smaller. Some dots connect and some dots don't. These cats depend on blending in to the surrounding area. And these little dots, while they make them super obvious to us, they did this one thing and you're like, can you see the cat? Can you see the cat? I'm like, see the cat every time. I'm like, no, yes, I can see the predator right there in the bush, that orange tiger right there. And then even when they took it like colorblind, I'm like, nope, it's stripey. Because our brains are designed to see patterns. That's why we can see the cat. We're not like so much better and more amazing than a gazelle. We're just designed to see patterns. Unfortunately, that's not great for us on Facebook when we fall into giant conspiracy theories. Because we see the pattern. But for art, it's fantastic. For art, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You know, it's about finding the balance. Avoid the cheetah. Not that we have a lot of opportunity to like have these come for us anymore. Though I did see a report where somebody had lost a big cat.
Oh my
in a
gosh,
neighborhood.
I remember. That was crazy.
I have to tell you guys right now, I don't think that's cool. Not for the cat, not for the neighborhood.
No.
And I'm sorry if you unsubscribe because you own big cats in your mouth. But I want to say to you, before you go and before you unsubscribe, you got to ask yourself, do I really care about you? Of course I do. Of course I really care about you, and I really care about the cat. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just go talk to any animal expert. It is not good for them. It was a real problem in Texas. People owning wild animals. And I'm telling you what, just from trying to like make a good hermit crab habitat from the ones my mom bought at the mall.
Yeah.
Because my mom bought the kids hermit crabs at the mall. Which, by the way, hermit crabs have a lot of needs. A lot of needs. It's, you know, you have to be prepared to take care of animals. They are a responsibility in, you know, coming up with hundreds of pounds of meat every day or enrichment. which means the animal's ability to run something down and pretend like it got it.
Yeah.
Enrichment. And I don't even think zoos always do it that well. I mean, they try, but nothing beats the wild. Nothing beats the wild. You know what I'd like to see, John? Just because for the 5 subscribers I have left, since I made the don't own big cat statement. But what I would like to see is I would love to see big game hunting trips turn into big game photography trips.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Right?
I'm into that.
You know, where instead of hunting these wild creatures, you photograph them. And yes, I know I got that from Northern Exposure. But I thought that was cool the first time I thought it. I was like, why don't we all do that? That seems a much better trophy.
It does.
Harder to get. Same expense. The equipment is just, you know, just as much. So you can see we're starting to get the cheetah. Starting. Now, I'm going to come on this face here. And some dots will be a little bigger. Paint the cheetah. Oh. Just putting in little patterns that you see. And if at this stage you're like, oh, my patterns are really strong, we'll have to come back through a whole layer of golden light fur. Yeah. They'll get blended in quite a lot. So you are okay. Just so you know, I'm going to come here with the black on very light. Again, if you're doing a round brush to do the hair strokes, you're doing the little hairs more individualistically, give yourself a little more time. Just realize it might take a minute more than you thought. And that is okay. I'm loading up. Sometimes I'm going to use this brush on its edge to get control over it. And sometimes I'm going to use it on the whole, depending on how I want to break up the cheetah dot. Up here through here, kind of applying a little center on it. You guys loving it?
I love it.
Y'all love it. What's everybody doing? Is everybody like? I'm surprised we have anyone even painting with us now that restrictions are lifting.
There's a lot of thank you and appreciation for painting, so they can paint along with you today.
Love it,
folks from all over the United States, all the way out to Oahu, Hawaii. Oahu, Ohio.
To Ohio. Howdy.
I wonder.
Howdy, aloha.
You have to wonder, is there an Oahu, Ohio? That'd be, because that's.
There's got to be. There's a Paris, Texas.
There's names for everything everywhere. But much love to everybody.
Wherever you are from. Just pulling those little dots in, right? Seeing the pattern. That's all you're doing. And then blend the pattern. That's what comes next, is blend the pattern. That's what you're trying to do. Create that and blend it. Sometimes I like to go up into the air and make sure that there's a little bit of shadow in the fur. Just nice. Coming down off here. Just break up those little spots. Because then we come back through with a much lighter fur and kind of soften and blend it all in. All right.
Wow.
Looking pretty good. Now, let's take a picture at this stage. We're almost there. And we're getting there. We just want to lighten the value and kind of even out the fur a bit to get it more like our reference and make fluffier. 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 So we're painting and we're painting. Isn't it nice? R&R. Next class is a sunset. Who's up for a sunset? Probably small canvas again because we're moving some stuff around. 9 by 12, I think, is going to be the sunset. Let's see. Then we got a great dog coming up. So great.
There's so many good doggy dog.
Doing this. All right. We got our steps.
All right.
Let's add some light fur again. We got to lighten it up.
Let's.
Got to lighten up the light. Let's take a little yellow and some brown. Together, the two of them, and quite a lot of the white. And sometimes I like to wipe off my brush a bit from the color so I can get it light enough. Coming in and doing the irregular spots again, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I got some nice this. I keep forgetting that I have really nice, brown out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just lightening it up. Try to just keep it random if you can. Break up the patterns where you can. And if you'll notice, I'm kind of brushing a little bit into my spots to soften them. You guys seeing that?
Yeah.
The thing I'm doing to soften them. Also to make them feel more random. Getting in my brown. On my white. Sometimes more into my white, like for out here. Just brushing that out, making nice little hair. That flows away. Now we're breaking it up.
Mm-hmm.
Break it up. Break up that color brawl. Gotta hide your kitty. Gotta hide your kitty. I'm gonna put out some more white paint. Oops. Too much white paint. Don't put out that much. So what happened there is I let my bottle get clogged.
Oh, yeah?
And I squeezed too hard, and then that happened. That's how I got that way. If you're wondering, like, how'd that happen there? That's how. Just get a little bit of that on my brush, and I'm going to come up here. And very lightly brush through here. Super light. I'm not trying to take out what I painted. I'm adding like almost like a light guard hair. You know what I'm saying? Where I want to get the edges of the face, I might come in with a little bit of light hair and catch the edges of the face. And then blend in where you can. A little bit of the brown. Just gotta lighten as you go. A little brown and a little yellow. I'm not taking away the work that we did. I'm just adding some dimensionality to it.
Mm.
I'm here and kind of try to work my ear a little bit. Sometimes I'll turn my piece upside down because it does give me a bit of a nice handle on how I want to get my brush stroke in. I'll do some crazy. You know, the ears are wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to get too big, and if I've got to come back and blend in a bit, let's blend in a bit. Little short strokes, right?
Oh.
Look at that.
Thank
Blending
you,
it
Art.
in. Huh?
Art says, thank you, John and Zedman, for another great tutorial.
Oh, thank you, Art. Is that Art in California or another
Nope.
Art?
Another Art.
Another Art.
There are many
Welcome,
arts.
Art. There are many arts. That, I guess, is true. There are many arts.
We can claim them all as our own, though.
I will.
You're now our art.
Unless that weirds you out, and then don't worry about it. So this is just me, just continuing to do the fur. And you can see that we're just lightening it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're just adding little guard hairs. And really, honestly, the process of the guard hairs even sort of helps. And by dry brushing and letting the color that's underneath show through, I haven't really changed the value, per se. I mean, the color, but I can lighten the value. See how we're using the dry brushing to lighten the value?
Yes.
That really helps us, doesn't it?
It does.
You can always get a little more yellow into it if you want it. Because again, we're not just the kitty that has spots, we're a kitty that really hides a bunch of different ways visually.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of different ways this kitty hides. And we want this kitty to have all the ways the kitty likes to hide as a way to hide. All his little stealthy ways. No, don't take his stealth away. He's very stealthy. Soon, he'll be independent, or she'll be independent, out there, or they'll be independent. Out there in the world, doing cat stuff. They will find nummy things they like. We had a hawk that just recently came to our yard and ate a snack.
We did, I know. And
I love that snack. It just bounced down and ate all the snack, and then it flew away with its snack. And we were just like, ooh, you like that. And it was like having such a nom 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 hawk moment. And I was just like, that's all you, hawk. That isn't a universal experience.
So it was interesting because I think
I'm going to move my
it was
upside down a little bit.
I think they're called peregrine falcons.
Yeah?
And I didn't really know this until someone threw up a fact and said that the peregrine falcon is the only disputed fastest land quote unquote animal that could be faster than a cheetah because it flies at 200 miles an hour.
Well, dude, that could have been what we had because it came in. We were like, where'd it come from?
Where the nest? They breed and nest here. So it totally could be up here. And they're about the size of a barn owl, which is what this one was. The markings were the same. So I was like, it could have been.
And you had a snack.
And it ate a snack.
It was so happy. It was like, it was like lunch.
There's a snake, and there's a big, I think it was a copperhead, and it just came down and went whoosh
I
at
don't
that
know what
snake,
kind.
and just, the snake was as long as it was, and it was eating it and having a good time.
I mean, I'm sure it was not fun for the
"Yay,
snake. The snake was probably like,
No,
that
bad day.
Bad day for the snake.
Bad day for the snake.
Good day for the falcon.
For the falcon. Yeah, that's right.
Very good day for the falcon. Very, very, very good day. And it did seem to be very happy in its journey. Isn't it looking gorgeous?
Super good.
It's so happy. It does. Gonna just add a little bit of. It needs to go out a little bit. I might move it little stripey a foot out or something just around its face. That happens sometimes. I'll move things as I'm painting.
Yep.
Not uncommon for me to do so. I will move it. Sorry to share a snake story with you, and I'm saying snake because that's how I like to say snake. Snake. I saw that on Internet Speak, and I was like, that is much less scary than when I normally scream, so I'm adopting that.
Well, snack is snack plus snake for the falcon. It's the snack snake.
It was a snacky snake.
Snack.
The falcon had a snake snack.
You guys, num 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 num.
No, I don't want to have a snake snack. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not interested in that as a snack. But the falcon was, and it had one. And now we watch the small dogs much closer. We're a little worried that the smallest one is snack size. That's a new thought. Apparently, though, my daughter came to me because she was super concerned about it, and they make anti-hawk vesties. Makes it hard for the big predator birds to get your little.
Oh. Have you seen how baby owls sleep?
I have not seen how baby owls sleep.
Okay, if you don't know how a baby owl sleeps, it's the cutest thing in the world. And after this video,
You should watch it.
you should go check it out.
I will.
They're like little kids. Wherever they're at, they just fall down and sleep. Just face first on the ground, just spread out, feet everywhere, just on their belly, like you'd think.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's just, you'd think like, is that bird just pass out? No, it's just fell asleep. It gets up and it's little baby owls. That's what they do. They're just like, I need a nap here.
You need a nap. And what are you going to do? They're an apex predator.
That's
They can
right.
nap where they feel like it, right? They nap where they like. They don't have to get permission. Their mom's giving them the go card. Apparently, owls like kidnap snakes to clean their nests.
Baby owls like come with a blanket on them. They're just like, I'm going to sleep here.
They look like both adorable and hideous at the same time. It's the best. I'm going to grab a little of my black because I moved my.
I mean, most baby animals are pretty cute, but baby owls are fearsome. They're like, "Hurr, I'm going to get you." And you're like, whoa, little owl, just take a nap. You'll feel better.
Did you even know we were going to get here? At home, did you guys know that we were going to go this far?
Mm-hmm.
But we did. I'm just taking some white, making some little curly cues. Anywhere I want to touch things up, because sometimes you got to touch things up.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit above the eye, right?
Yeah.
A little around the eye. I like it.
I like it too.
Okay, guys.
Wow.
Added to the big cat collection,
Mm-hmm.
we has cheetah.
That's so good.
So that's how I and you together would paint a baby cheetah. Now, you can come by and share this on Twitter, on Instagram, or in the Facebook group. We are here to support and be encouraging. I know sometimes, especially when you're new to painting, it's easy to get frustrated with yourself. I want you to do me like a super solid and remember to be very forgiving with yourself. Like,
oh, not you. Hold on.
You wouldn't be hard on yourself if you never surfed in your life and then you just took a surfing class and couldn't just totally curl away, right? You'd be like okay with that because you would recognize that surfing, while learnable and totally teachable, takes a minute to get the muscle skills and I'll learn all the stuff about surfing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with art, because your imaginations, they never went away. I know you guys probably think they did from when you were a little kid, but they've been just sitting there waiting for you to dust them off and use them at all. And they're right there ready to go. And you have great visualization tools and you have all this stuff. And then you may feel a little frustrated that it doesn't look right to you or it isn't perfect. So look for two things that you did really well in your painting and focus on that. Remember, this is a cumulative process and that you probably did a lot better than you think. Because if you have a cheetah, you have a cheetah.
Gotta sign it.
Oh, do I? Signing it. I'm going to sign it. In this particular one, I get to use white because, right?
You know, it's interesting that painting is one of these intuitive things that we don't know we need to practice that we learn. Like, you can pick up and throw a ball and hit something with it. And you, there's no aiming. There's just your brain knowing that roughly.
But there was aiming once.
Well, I mean, kind of but you just intuitively do it.
When you were little.
Yeah, but
there was one.
Like as you grow up, your body just learns these things, and it's really cool. I love painting and studying other stuff. It's just so fascinating.
So it's super important in that process that you are present to that and very forgiving of that process. You can get anywhere that you want in painting. We've got a bunch of students who have been with me for 7 years. Believe you me, they are doing their dream paintings. They are being what they hoped. And they just did a bunch of paintings. I mean, that's like how you get there. How fun does that sound? Do you want to get better at art? Do a bunch of paintings. I'm doing them all week. Show up every couple of days and I'll do one with you. Woo! Right? We'll get there. You can do it. Right? I would love to see your painting. If you'd like to show me, you can come by the Facebook group, come by Twitter, come by Instagram, even Pinterest. A little harder to find them on Pinterest, but you can share them there. I want you guys to do something else. Be good to yourself. A little self-kindness goes a long way. Be good to each other because we're all going through it. And I want to see you at an easel real soon. Bye-bye.